Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all my Potan Yugioh deck profile for post Rise of the Duelist. With the release of Rise of the Duelist, we were given the third member of the Potan archetype, and that is Red Potan. It's a really interesting concept for the playstyle of these cards, focusing on synchro summoning when these cards were originally introduced during the 5Ds era, and we haven't seen any other support since then, so pretty crazy, more than 10 years later that we get this type of support for the deck, focusing on special summoning out all the different Potan that we have using Red Potan with all of the additional level 1 support that I wanted to mix in with the deck to make more of a viable deck, and then just go off of the synchro summons that we do for all the lower level synchro monsters. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off with the newest addition to the archetype, I'm running 3 Red Potan. You can target 1 Potan monster you control, treat it as a tuner until the end of the next turn. If a monster is synchro summoned while you control this monster, you can special summon 1 Potan monster from your hand or deck. You can only use each effect of Red Potan once per turn. So this setup is basically meant to go off of the other Potan monsters that we run that gain additional effects while you control a tuner monster, and then when they are destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you have a different effect that focuses on either damaging your opponent or healing yourself with your life points. But Red Potan just helps to special summon out those monsters as long as you have this card while you perform a synchro summon, and it has to be on the field as well. You don't use it for the synchro summon, it has to be here on the field while you use the synchro summon. So having other monsters definitely does help with the playstyle of Red Potan all together with all your other Potan monsters. For the additional Potan monsters, I didn't want to go max numbers on them just because they're not that easy to special summon out. It's not like you can special summon Red Potan where you control another Potan monster on the field. So I reduced the numbers of those cards since they also are, able to be special summoned onto the field. So I run 2 White Potan. If you control a face-up tuner monster, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. When a face-up tuner monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, inflict 500 damage to your opponent. So the more tuner monsters you control, the better that you'll be able to use. So basically your opponent has to take out the tuner monsters before they can destroy White Potan on the field. So making Red Potan the tuner monster while keeping White Potan the non-tuner monster on the field means that they'll take more and more damage from these effects on the field. Like I said, if you have the multiples of these cards in your hand, like if this is your opening hand, there's not much for you to do playstyle wise aside, just hope that your 6th draw you get. So just relying on the lower numbers of White Potan and the next Potan in the deck. Just make for more consistency with the other playstyle, just being an engine that focuses on synchro summoning while relying on the different Potan monsters on the field for their additional effects, and the fact that you can make your Red Potan the tuner monster or any other Potan monster that may be on the field, controlling the playstyle you want also. With the final Potan monster being Black Potan, with this one, if you control a face-up tuner monster, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. Just like White Potan, when a face-up tuner monster you control is removed from the field, you gain 800 life points. So unlike being destroyed by battle, like White Potan, just being removed from the field will make you gain 800 life points for that defensive play as well. While White Potan deals damage to your opponent, Black Potan is able to gain life points, but altogether you want that setup on the field for more additional synchro plays you can make to have them get the special summons on the field, while Red Potan gives you additional monsters to use also. And the fact that they're level 1 monsters means you just have options for, rank 1 Xyz plays, or even going into other cards like Link Karebo, opening up your extra deck to a lot of different possibilities. For the additional level 1 support that I wanted to mix in with the deck, there's nothing that specifies that the Potan monsters have to be, used with level 1s, but I wanted a good focus of the cards in the deck to be level 1s just to work better for easier synchro summons without having to invest a lot for your bigger plays. So I'm running 3 Yugioh. It cannot be special summoned when this card is normal summon, or flip face up. You can target 1 level 1 monster in your graveyard, special summon that target, but banish it when this card leaves the field. Once per turn during the end phase, if this card was normal summon or flip face up, return to the hand. So just an easy special summon of another level 1 monster onto the field can make or break that play you may have wanted to go for. With one of our big plays in the extra deck, just for the easiest synchro summon, is Formula Synchron, which also gives you draw power as well. So being able to rely on Yugioh for that an additional level 1 monster you can bring out onto the field, and it doesn't limit you for your special summon plays. Yugioh just can't be special summon itself. That's why I wanted to run max number of this card as I could for all the plays you can make in the deck. More special summoning options, because we seem to always be short just that one monster. I run 3 Jester Confit. You can only control 1 Jester Confit to special summon this card from your hand in attack position. If summoned this way during your opponent's next end phase, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, return both that target and this to the hand. But that additional special summon is why I like this card, just being able to special summon Jester Confit and then normal summoning Yugioh using its effect to special summon Red Potan from your graveyard onto the field. Then you can use Red Potan to target a Potan monster on the field, and it can be the tuner for that play, and then you have the option to go for the synchro play right then and there. Or if you control the other Potan monster on the field after doing this play, if it was able to stall out, being protected from your other tuners that you may possess on the field, like let's say your opponent attacked into Red Potan first, you have that option as well, which I'll go over all these plays in more detail at the end of the video. But 3 Jester Confit just helps for that easy special summon, because you want your normal summon to either be taken up by one of your Potan monsters or one of the other important monsters to special summon from the graveyard. And aside from the fact that none of those have been tuners except for Red Potan, which can, make your Potan monsters tuners, I like to run 3 Jet Synchron just for the graveyard setup. It's an easy special summon back onto the field by sending 1 card from your hand to the graveyard to special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You don't really use it at all for the junk effect, but you do have the option with the next monster that I'm running in the deck for that search power when it's sent to the graveyard as synchro material, which you will be doing for a majority of this card's play in the deck. But that special summon option just gives you more and more resources back on the field as well. With the next tuner being Junk Synchron, I gave it some thought, and I really do like this card in the deck. It just gives you more special summon options for a bunch of our different cards in the deck as well. Just being able to have more and more different ones on the field to rely on. Its effect will be negated, but you still have the option for going into another additional synchro play with just that one other monster. And then if you have that other Potan monster on the field while you conducted the synchro summon, you'll get a special summon of another one onto the field. For some of the lower numbers of monsters, I run 2 Scapegoats. This is just an easy way to get more and more tokens out onto the field to make use of with your Potan monsters on the field, swarming out the additional tokens for you to use for extra deck plays as well. And for some of the one-ofs, I run 1 Treeborn Frog. We don't really want that many backup cards or, back row cards in this deck, so being able to summon Treeborn Frog repeatedly onto the field is an added bonus for sure. And 1 Darksea Rescue. If it's used for a synchro summon and sent to the graveyard, the owner of the card draws 1 card. So you can even run 2 Darksea Rescue if you wish, instead of the Treeborn Frog as this extra slot to give you more and more draw power with the cards you make, especially if you make Formula Synchron, because then you'll be getting the draw from Darksea Rescue and the draw for Formula Synchron, continuing your hand growth while you do your extra deck plays with the deck. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells, with all the Potans being level 1. I run 3 Where Art Thou. Just having the level 1 monster on the field gives you the additional search, and we don't really use life points for anything else in this deck aside from Black Potan being able to increase our life points, meaning if you do take the damage from Where Art Thou, you won't take as much damage and reduce your life points as much, as long as you were gaining life as well from that card. So just an easy search to also dwindle down the deck, because like I said, with cards like Formula Synchron, will be drawing a lot of cards to rely on. So Where Art Thou, thinning the deck out, and then drawing other important cards is a big help for sure. I also run 2 Double Summon. The additional normal summon definitely comes in handy if we're just 1 card short on the field, depending on what you wanted to summon out, and then relying on that for, let's say we have the synchro play ready to go, but then we just need that 1 additional monster to be on the field to benefit from special summoning the other Potan monsters back out onto the field after we do the synchro summon also. So Double Summon is just that 1 extender that definitely can come in handy. And we do run a lot of weaker monsters in the deck, so being able to run 2 Creature Swap to give my opponent to give me something more beneficial to use for the synchro plays makes it all the better. They may even have a tuner monster I can use, or just something with a level better adjusted for me to summon a synchro monster onto the field that I can make. For some of the one-ofs that I run in the deck, I run 1 Scapegoat, just more special summoning just like Scapegoat, 1 Foolish Burial. This is to set up Treeborn Frog or Jet Synchron in the graveyard to use to special summon back onto the field. 1 for 1 basically searches any of the Potan monsters in the main deck, so just having that option is a big help for sure. And 1 Monster Reborn, just that 1 monster extender. I've spoke about it pretty much for the whole video, but just that 1 additional monster on the field can make the play that you want to go for with the Potan monsters, so having Monster Reborn very, very important also as one of our one-ofs in the deck. And I also run 3 Call by the Grave just for an added option for stopping my opponent's hand traps. Definitely needed for sure. If you don't want to run Call by the Grave in the main deck, you can also just have a hand trap be the fill-in spot here, Ash Blossom, you name it, whichever one you want for this additional spot. But I like Call by the Grave just as a good way so I can always keep my searches going, especially the special summon with my Potan monsters. And then for the only trap that I'm running in the deck, I run 3 Back to the Front. This is here for the fact that if you have, let's say, white or black Potan on the field, if you control a face-up tuner, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. It applies for both of these cards. So if you control a tuner monster and then just being able to special summon these back to the graveyard makes a wall on the field that your opponent will have to go for the tuner monster first and then have to get over these other cards with added protection also. And also just for the fact that if you make the card a tuner with red Potan, this card won't be able to be destroyed by battle at all, since red Potan is able to target a Potan monster for the fact that it makes it a tuner, and you'll have that additional wall on the field also. So remember that when playing this card, if you do make it a tuner, you'll be protected until the end of the next turn from being destroyed by battle. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. Our easiest synchro to make, I run 3 Junk Synchron. You just need, 2 monsters from the deck. So one of your tuners, which can be Jet Synchron, or any of the other cards that red Potan made into a tuner to summon out this card. Then going for the draw power to rely on. 3 of it is definitely needed, just so you have this option always to rely on and always have cards to go into also. For a level 3 option, I want to try 1 Martial Metal Marcher. If it's synchro summon, you can target 1 tuner in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, but negate its effects. You can only use this effect of a Martial Metal Marcher once per turn, and a synchro monster that uses this card's material is treated as a tuner while face up on the field. So just that easier as well for that option to give you a tuner when you use it for a synchro play, but all the better, just another easy level 3 monster to make and give you more resources out on the field, especially a tuner, because then having white or black Potan on the field gives it more protection value also. For some of the other synchros that I run 1 Armory Arm and 1 Underworld Fighter Balmung. Just easy synchros to make when I use Junk Synchron with one of the level 1 monsters in the deck. And lastly, 1 Black Rose Dragon for one of the stronger synchro monsters. You can also try some other level 8 options, Stardust Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, you name it, even Trishula if you wanted to mix around, since you can have plenty of level 1 monsters with some stronger ones on the field to make use of with this card. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Link Karibo. All the level 1 monsters makes it that much easier to summon this card out onto the field. 1 Cross Sheep with all the different synchros as well, just the additional benefits of Cross Sheep as a Link monster. 1 Crystron Halka-Fibrax for the tuner options with this card for summoning it out. Also 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 Saryuja with all the different level monsters. Being able to put some of the Potans back into the deck to use makes it all the better for sure. And 1 Sylvan Princess Sprite for the rank up options, especially when it's just an option to go into and I need it for more spell and trap setup. This card definitely does come in handy. But as for the go-to plays, like I said, if you have the option to special summon out, let's say you have your white or black Potan on the field for that setup, and then you go for the special summon play of your Jester Confit onto the field. You can then normal summon your Yugioh, which will let you special summon from the graveyard any of your other setup, which you could have easily done with red Potan turn 1, even just summoning out red Potan, link summoning into a Link Karibo for the play to just stop your opponent's attacks on that turn, and then have Red Potan set up in the graveyard, special summoning it back onto the field with Yugioh, and then using Red Potan to either turn White Potan or Black Potan into a tuner, which will protect them from being destroyed by battle. Remember that as well. But then you can also use either one for the Synchro Summon, which you can use with either Yugioh and one of the Potans you had on the field, to go into Formula Synchron, giving you the additional draw from the deck, and then allowing Red Potan to special summon one from the deck as well. Whichever one you had on the field, it can be the opposite for that one that you special summon out using Red Potan also. And then just go from there with the Synchro plays as well. Or even since we're in Master Rule 5 now, having the Formula Synchron and the additional Potan on the field, you can even overlay them and then use the additional one for a Link Summon also, if you didn't go for the Link Karibo play already and have that set up on the field to go for. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. This is definitely an interesting deck that I enjoyed making. Just one of the overlooked archetypes that I'm curious that maybe we'll get more support for in the future as well. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.